questions for Sir Roby. So meron pong first question from Adam Renz Sulaga. Good morning, Sir Roby. May I ask if a public broadcaster is still government-owned? What's the difference between public and private broadcaster?
Well, ano po yan? There are actually three things in my mind on how I categorize it. No? There's private, no? And then there is state-owned and state media. And then there is public broadcasting. So private and public, malinaw naman. Let's say public and state-owned, malinaw naman yung difference. No? So sa private, pribadong sektor, it's businessmen, it's investors who run it. They are not and should not be beholden to government. And then dun sa mga pagmamayari ng Estado, and it's not owned by government, it's owned by the people. Dalawa yan. There is state media, which is what we have, PTV4, yung mga radio stations natin, and so on. And these are literally, and this is not to put any judgment on it. It's just a reality. Those are government mouthpieces. No, they really are there to really give weight to what government wants to say. Yung gumigit na doon, yung tinatawag natin na public media and public broadcasting in particular. The gold standard for this is something like BBC, for example, where linilinaw na this is owned by the state, it's owned by the people. BBC works, for example, by getting a tax, because it's such an old law that funds them. It gets a piece of bawat radyo at bawat television set na mabebenta. May tax yun. And that piece of fund is earmarked, is dedicated to funding the BBC. And what that allows BBC to do is to be owned by the people, but not operated by government. No? And dahil garantisado yung budget niya, dahil nanggagaling sa sales ng TV and radio yung budget niya, hindi siya takot every year na mag-present ng budget sa Congress, halimbawa, or sa Parliament in the case of the UK. And therefore, it can afford to be independent in its editorial content. So yun po yung pagkakaiba. No? State-owned media, state-operated media, which is what we have, it really is run and operated, and let's face it, beholden to public interest. Private, ganun din. And let's face it, let's be honest also, private media is also beholden to private interest. No? They try to be independent. Within the newsroom, professional journalists ideally try to be independent, even if it comes at the expense, for example, of their own investors. But public broadcasting and public media tries to straddle that in between, tries to have the best of both worlds, where you have guaranteed funds from the public. At the same time, you have editorial independence because precisely those funds are already guaranteed and earmarked. Hindi sila kailangan magmakaawa sa Kongreso for anything. Not for the franchise, not for the fees, not for the budget, and so on. So yun po yung pagkakaiba.
Okay, thank you so much, Sir Roby.